types of skills are actually super valuable. And so we want them to have these skills. And I think the key here is our own emotional regulation. Like the only reason that your child negotiating with you is a problem is if you get upset by it. And so for me, when my kids do that, again, I've trained myself to view it as a positive thing, and I will let them negotiate. And sometimes they'll convince me. I'll be like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll give that. There's actually an entire book about it called Never Split the Difference. It's on the art of negotiation. And in a good negotiation, both sides will feel satisfied. And so for me, I'm willing to engage with negotiation with my kids because that's a great skill. But if I feel like, no, wait a second, that's way too much, you're taking advantage of me, then I tell them, I'm like, no, that's not fair to me. That's not okay. And so that becomes a part of the whole dialogue where I'm giving feedback to them. Like, no, that's too far because now I feel like you're taking advantage of me. And so I literally just involve that and keep it like a positive thing so that they do practice that. And you're encouraging them by your response to continue doing that because that is a good thing. It is. We've done a whole podcast episode about it, how that actually develops critical thinking skills by helping them or allowing them to have this place for negotiation, for debate, for talking back, so to say. And so it's a positive thing. Here's a key element. I know I grew up in a house where if my dad said it, that was it. There was no negotiation. And as a result, my response was rebellion. Now, that's not every child's response, but that was my response. Some children rebel silently. I learned as a parent that if I said it, okay, great. I'm not perfect and I don't say everything that has to be law. So I don't feel like a pushover. If I'm like, well, I said that, but you said something that convinced me, I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I'll do that instead. What a pushover is to me is they push that boundary and then they keep pushing and then they keep pushing and then they keep pushing and nothing I say is ever validated.
If you have a kid that's a negotiator, do not kill that. It is such a beautiful strength. Now, don't give in and you don't have to back down and don't just because they're good at it, you don't have to give in, but don't kill it either. Because sometimes we get so exasperated, we kill it. And then by the time they need that skill so desperately as teens and young adults, it's been killed out of them. So keep it going and be like, no, a firm boundary. Good job. I'm glad you're negotiating. That's great. But I'm clear on this one. You get this or this. And if they keep pushing and say, oh, sorry, I'm retracting what I said. Well, and you give in because of exasperation, not because your kids had good ideas.
Exactly.
Remember, Our children have great ideas. And if we feel threatened by their great ideas because I'm the adult, then we fail. Yeah. But if our kids say something like,
okay,
man, you're right. I was wrong. You win. That's amazing. Like that's the biggest win for our kids. And it helps you as a parent to say, wow, yeah, like you figured that out. Man, totally. It's on you. Way to go. Congratulations. And for them to watch you do that is huge. So please let your kids negotiate and win sometimes. But if you just are in exasperation and you're like, I'm so sick of you, fine, then you're being a pushover and the kids learn a different lesson.